Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
You know, watching this movie, we can't talk so much about it because we don't want to spoil it. But how much fun was it when you got the script, Julianne, and said, "Okay, I got to play this part."
Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. It was so amazing. The script is so well written, and so surprising, and really fun, and entertaining, and engaging. And I said yes right away, and talked to the writers. I said, let's do this. I'll attach myself, and we'll go get this set up. And I think that the quality of the writing was so wonderful that we really did attract so many talented people. So we have this amazing cast and this great director, and I couldn't be prouder of it.
Sebastian, obviously, you're seen in a lot of projects, whether it be a film or television. What goes into saying yes to taking on this role?
I think it's just a couple of things. Obviously, if it's always the script, and kind of like Julianne said, this thing was so surprising and kind of came out of left field in many ways, story-wise, and there was something refreshing about that in terms of reading it. And then obviously the chance of getting to work with her, and I had a great conversation with Ben Caron, and he seemed to have a real point of view of the story. So there's, the director plays a huge piece of it as well. But it was always a really, really great script.
You don't appear for a good minute, Julianne. At first I said, are they using Julianne to get us to see this movie? Because some time has gone by and she hasn't appeared yet. I was like, I was like, what's going on here? Is she the EP and just appears at the end? But hey, that's a credit to the script, without giving so much away as to what's going on with the certain characters. I think when you're watching a con game, the two words I think about is trust and patience. Because in order to run any con, you have to have patience in order to pull it off. How much of a fan are you of the con genre? Because we haven't had that many of those seen in recent years.
I think I like anything that's surprising. I also enjoy people talking to each other, people pursuing their agendas, their personal agendas with each other through another human being in conversation. Like, I'm not a big fan of car chases and that kind of stuff. I really like to see people talking, and I like to see emotional relationships. And the thing about these kind of movies is that you are watching all the drama be created through these relationships. So that's what I think is most compelling about them.
Actors can never stop learning. Obviously, you guys have done numerous projects throughout the years. This is Benjamin's, first big film. Is there anything you picked up from him, even though he's done TV work for so many years, that you can take on to your next project? Are you guys still learning this game? Sebastian?
Yeah.
I think it's definitely always a learning lesson, and everybody can contribute something new, and that's part of the fun of sometimes kind of staying open to other processes, not just kind of walking in there with one thing and trying to drive it through everybody. Everyone's showing up that day with a whole new piece of the scene that you haven't figured out all on your own. I think Ben, he was really patient and caring, and I think he was very sensitive to us and what we needed, and kind of communicating it in the right way, and ensuring trust, and that part of it. He's really good at communicating what he feels it's needed or what he wants.
And he's so collaborative and also joyful about what he's doing. It's just, if someone comes to work every day and wants to work with you and loves what they're doing, it's just a lesson in how infectious that can be, how kind of atmosphere you can create that makes everybody want to participate in that way and feel that valued. He was really, really wonderful that way.
Before I let you go, Julianne, with so many films that you've done over the years, what tickles your fancy now in terms of when people give you a script, or what is it that you're looking for to these days?
Really, probably the same thing I'm always looking for. I'm looking for kind of a compelling story about I always want my character to have something going on with them that's interesting. I want them to be at the center of their own narrative. If a character exists just to facilitate another character's narrative, then that's not very interesting to me. But in this one, what's so wonderful is that you have these 5 distinct characters that are all kind of pursuing their own agenda. So I'm always looking for that, like these people at the center of their own story.
I was intrigued watching this, trying to see where it's going to go. It went where I didn't expect it. So congratulations. You got me going.
Awesome.
Wherever you guys are at, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Wilson Morales, Black Film TV. How much fun was it when you got this script, knowing the roles you're playing? Justice?
It was I played roles like this before, like characters who are really desperate for love, and I knew that it wasn't going to be that difficult. I really wanted to do it because of the cast, specifically Julianne Moore. I wanted to work with her really bad, and then when I met Brianna, I was like, oh, I'm safe. Like this is going to be a real fun experience. But I also knew whoever was going to play Sandra was probably going to be incredible, and Brianna was no short of that.
In such a short period of time, Brianna, you're rising up in the world with a role like this, with a cast like this. How much fun was it playing Sandra?
Oh, it was a ball. It was a ball. I mean, there were definitely times where I felt like she's a lot to chew. The job of playing her is a lot to tackle, but it was I felt so taken care of with our cast, our crew, Ben, our director. I felt very held and safe in the job that it is to play her.
The chaos of it all.
Chaos.
The way the film is set, it's a good thing as actors, that each of you have an arc. Sometimes when it's an ensemble piece, you come in and out, but without giving so much away, there's sections where it's just primarily you for the most part. How does that make you feel as an actor when you have that many pages on the script and it's, you have to carry a certain part of it? Justice?
That's kind of the job, it's not, I would say, I try not to think about the responsibility of it all, and I just try to be present in the moment and with my fellow actor. I love how this film is kind of cut into these 4 parts and focuses on the perspectives of the character, because I feel like you don't really get that a lot these days. It's usually a clear protagonist and a clear antagonist, and this has, like, all these stories are interwoven and shows the justifications behind each person's action, that I think it allows the audience to decide who is the villain and who is the hero.
And when you're working with Benjamin, who's done a lot of TV work, but this is his first big film, as actors, you could never stop learning. Is there anything you picked up from his direction that helps you out skill set wise as you go on to your next project? Brianna?
I think just to never, even when it seems like you need to have a lot of things set, like our story and filming this story could feel really overwhelming, and it could feel like you need to really set a lot of things and choices beforehand because of the chaos of what filming this could be, just tracking arcs and all of that. And Ben just never made it feel that way. It was all play, it was all curiosity, it was all exploration. And I think our performances are better because of the tone that he set there.
Just as I have to mention, since you mentioned you wanted to work with Julianne, did you ever bring up any Jurassic stories?
No, I didn't. I did ask her about Boogie Nights, though. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I should have asked her about Jurassic. I didn't even realize we had that in common, that we're both kind of in this franchise. But yeah, no, I didn't ask her anything. I should have. Maybe I will today.
And Brianna, working with Sebastian, obviously it was interesting to seeing where these characters were going to go. Obviously you have to establish chemistry with everybody, but how did you guys get along in terms of establishing chemistry so that we, the audience, can see that the characters can fall into each other?
Fall into each other. That's a nice way to say it.
You and Sebastian?
Yeah, me and Sebastian. I think, I think the different relationships, there are different relationships throughout this film. My relationship with Tom is very different from my relationship with Max, and I think we all were very aware of that, and I think we just wanted each relationship to feel different.
Have you guys been fans of the con mystery genre throughout the years? There's a number of them that we can think back and go, this feels like this feels like that. This is something totally different. These movies, are these type of genres something that you care to watch or, do? Justice?
Yeah, I mean, they're very interesting, and I read the script all in one sitting because I was so encapsulated by all of these twists and turns. I never knew where I was going to go next. So I clearly have a love for them that I didn't even realize. But moreover, I just enjoy films that know how to take you on a ride. I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's what this film does so well, is it takes you on a ride. And so I highly encourage people to just go in blind and sit back and enjoy.
And I was so intrigued. I don't think I saw a trailer. It's just the cast itself is like, okay, I'm game. And then I'm watching it, and like, unlike a book or a script, I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this is going. And there were stretches where like, is this person really in the movie? It's been a while before we see Julianne. And I was like, I know she's part of the producing team. Are they just using her name to sell us to watch this? I was like, it's Brianna, it's Justice. I'm like, wow, okay, I see it going. But hey, it worked out for the best. I'm sure there's an audience that's going to get a kick out of it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Take care. Around from Black Film TV, Ben, obviously, we know the work that you've done on TV, but now we've got a film, an intriguing film at that. Did you tinker around with the script to make it, to tailor it to your style of direction?
I completely rewrote it. No, I didn't at all. No, I did. Brian and Alex wrote a brilliant script, and that's that, and the fact that Julianne Moore was on the movie was the reason why I just jumped at making this. I mean, you can read it. It's actually don't read it. Watch the movie first, and then maybe if you're interested, you can go and read it, because maybe you don't know this, but the script was on the blacklist for a number of years, and then Julianne read it and saw that it was a great part in there, and then Apple and A24 came on board, and then I came on board. So there's a little bit of, we did a little bit of work in the final act, which sort of changed a little bit from how it was. I sort of had this idea about the ending of The Usual Suspects, and there was something about that film and how that lovely unraveling at the end I wanted to kind of bring into Sharper.
Well, that's the thing about when you're watching a mystery film, is can the audience figure it out before the end, and how to keep them intrigued, especially the way you have it set up where, it's different without giving anything away. We're seeing different characters, but, not all at once. And you're saying to yourself, I knew Julianne was in the movie, and I go, is she really in the movie, or is this a red herring to get us to watch this?
Well, that's true. You have to. I think you have to wait 40 minutes until you see Julianne Moore.
Yes,
which is extraordinary, and you think about it, because you're, in a more traditional movie, you would have your big stars up front, and that's one of the many things that I love about Sharper, is that actually you have to sort of, you have to wait. You have to patiently wait until Julianne Moore walks on stage.
Mm-hmm. And then besides Julianne, you've got Sebastian, you got Justice, you got Brianna, it's the core four right here, and they all have to work with each other. And, how did you work with them in establishing chemistry so that way we, the audience, can buy that there's a relationship between the characters without giving so much away? So who's involved with the other?
So very early on, we had a rehearsal process where it was like a sort of blind dating, where we would, because it's an ensemble piece and they all ultimately have sort of relationships with each other, we would have rehearsals where I would bring the sort of different pairings together, and that we would work through the sort of character arcs and the scenes, and then we would switch out. And for me, it was fascinating, because my sort of loyalty and affinity and love of those relationships would change constantly. And part of that was, I think, is sort of the success of the movie, that, you might start out loving one pairing, but then hopefully that will change into something else. And then that keeps evolving through the rest of the movie.
When you work on a movie like this, and having worked on numerous projects over the years that you've done, what did you learn? Because I think everybody still learns whenever they do a project, skill set wise, that you can take on to your next project, having done this.
Right. What did I learn? Well, for me, this was the first time I got to shoot on 35mm, and that was a big learning curve, because I've been quite spoiled by shooting on digital, and there's just a very different process to shooting on film. You have a film canister that lasts like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and so you have to sort of change your approach for that. Also, like you're watching, it sounds really mad, but the screen you're watching is like sort of watching something like a television from the 1970s. So you know, whereas I'm so used to seeing high definition monitors and being able to really see the whites of actors' eyes, so I had to almost let go of the monitor and go and stand by the camera and be, you know, right in the thick of it with the actors.
Hey, it's an intriguing film. I watched it, you know, from beginning to end. I was trying to figure out where we're going with this, and it played well, you know, to my liking. So congratulations. Obviously, we want to see more films from you. Stay in this game. Let's not be a one and done, and we'll talk down the road.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Take care.